welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to confess, and that is my piercing confessions, my top worst piercing fails. So if you guys are an OG on my channel, I have done countless piercing related videos, piercing care videos, me getting piercings, healing journeys, how to heal a certain piercing. I have done so many videos like that, and a lot of them have actually helped you guys, but I am not perfect. I have done things that are in the piercing world quite questionable, to be perfectly honest with you, and today is the day where I am going to admit those things to you. And this is why I always told you guys to always seek the advice of a professional, because I am not a professional. I am not perfect when it comes to piercings. I have had probably in conjunction close to 35 to 40 piercings. I currently am sitting at about 30, 29, 28, 30 piercings right now, but I have been pierced probably close to 40 times. And over those 40 times of getting pierced, I have done things that aren't exactly correct. So the very first piercing fail that I have for you guys is I used to go to a shop that offered $10 piercings, jewelry included. This is when I first started getting piercings. You can see my cat. My kitty is walking across the desk right now. Hopefully you can still see me. I don't know how much of him you can see. I'm gonna leave him here. He's being a good kitty. Yeah, he can just sit up here. Oh, thank you, Kiki. Now, there is a saying, you get what you pay for. And that couldn't be any more true, because the lower you pay, the lower quality you're going to get. And when I first started getting piercings, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a whole lot of income coming in, but I really wanted to start getting piercings. And there was a piercing shop right down the street from where I lived when I lived in downtown Grand Rapids. And they were known for their $10 piercings. So I would go and get a lot of piercings. And I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, a lot of them were done horribly. This helix piercing up here is a pain and a bane of my existence because it just wasn't done right. They even pierced my tongue for $10, and there's the scar. I still have the scar. And as you can see, it is severely slanted. It was never pierced straight. It was pierced slanted. So it was straight up here, but on the bottom, it was not. $10 piercings. What the heck was I thinking? My next piercing fail, and this is actually on video as proof that I did this. I had a tragus piercing that I'm pretty sure was starting to migrate / reject, and my first thought and my first genius idea was to put a butterfly back in my tragus piercing, a 22 gauge butterfly back earring in my tragus piercing. Just saying that out loud just makes me just cringe and just want to die inside, because what the heck? Like, why didn't I just take it out? I guess I was just so desperate to hang on to it that I saw this butterfly back and I was like, perfect. What the heck, Bree? Don't do that. Don't be like me. My next piercing fail is something that I always tell you guys to never ever do, but I myself am very guilty of this, and I am finally going to admit it to the masses, to the internet, and that is, I am guilty of picking the crusties off a new piercing. So when you get a new piercing and it starts to get all crusty, and they always tell you, and I always told you, don't pick the crusties off because you're going to irritate the piercing. Guess who picks the crusties off of their new piercings? This girl. Sometimes if I'm just chilling and I can feel it, sometimes you can feel it, I'll just sit there and I'll just pick, wherever that new piercing may be. I've done that before. I'm definitely guilty of that. You definitely shouldn't do it because it does irritate them, but guilty as charged. My next piercing fail is the very first time I ever got my septum pierced. Again, this kind of ties into the $10 piercing shop. The first time I ever got my septum pierced, it was pierced. I'm not even kidding you, down here in my cartilage, really, really low. And it hurt like a bitch. It hurt so bad. And I convinced myself, even though I knew deep down it was wrong, I tried to convince myself and you guys that it was pierced correctly. I think I made up some bullshit like, oh, my sweet spot is just really low. No, it was pierced very, very wrong. And I tried to make it work for as long as I could, but the pain just never went away because it was pierced right through the cartilage. I got it done correctly a second time, and it's been glorious ever since. Look at that. It's all the way up here where it's supposed to be. So, yeah. But, yeah, I totally tried to convince myself and you guys that the first time I ever got my septum done that it was correctly done. It was not. It was ugly. And last but certainly not least, my last piercing confession and piercing fail is using externally threaded jewelry. And here's the kicker. Still to this day, I still use and love externally threaded jewelry. I know it's wrong in the piercing industry. I know it's very taboo. I know it's very not loved by the piercing community. And I understand why it's wrong, but me personally, I love my externally threaded jewelry. I do. I've never had any issues with it. Definitely for new piercings, I will admit that I do prefer internally threaded jewelry because taking out, like when you go to change a new piercing for the first time once it's ready, it's a little bit more rougher with externally threaded. So I do prefer internally threaded for new piercings, but as far as like healed piercings and all that jazz, I see absolutely no issue in externally threaded jewelry. It's a fail of mine, but it's a fail that I continue to do every single day. I still love my externally threaded jewelry. Hate me for it. Those are all of my piercing confessions / piercing fails that I have. I want you guys to do me a favor. Go down in the comments and tell me what your biggest piercing confession and or piercing fail is. I'm sure I've forgotten a couple in this video, and I'm sure there's going to be a few comments that I might be able to relate to, but if you can relate to anything that I said, or if you have an experience that you want to share down in the comments, please let me know. At the end of the day, we're all human. We're not perfect, but we love our piercings. Am I right? I hope you guys enjoyed this short, fun little video. If you did, go down, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on your notifications, go down in the description box, follow me on all of my socials. I would love to have you there. But as the rest of you, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.